Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Erin Glenn with the Sassy Lass Craftroom. I am going to start out by quickly apologizing for the quality of the video and my voice. I'm a little under the weather, and as far as the quality is concerned, I'm learning and I'll get better as I go, hopefully. So I'm making a card today with the Retro Lucky digital file you can find in our Etsy shop. I cut it out on my Cricut as an SVG. And those are the other things that I'm using. I did cut out extra layers of the word lucky and then that pink layer because I wanted some dimension in my card. And I have these extra pieces from cutting out the outlines that I'll show you how I used later. So initially I thought, well, I'll start with gluing all of my pieces together because I'll give them time to dry. Then I realized pretty quickly, and you'll see here in a second, that, well, no, I want to do a splatter background and that has to dry too. So I switch over to that in a second. I will go back to all of my gluing in a little bit. I didn't edit this video down a whole lot, but I did cut out some things, and I did speed up a few things because I don't really think you want to watch me glue for 5 minutes. So this is where I realized, yeah, the background has to dry. So I'm using the Waffle Flower Multimedia Mat. So in those little squares off to the side, and you can't actually see me doing it because, you know, I placed the media mat and the camera in the wrong place. But I just squirted my 3 different paints into 3 of those little squares. And then I squirted some water into those, and you know, that's where I just mixed them up so that I could splatter. So I'm using like a gold metallic, and then I use a green metallic, and then just like a Kelly green. Yeah, you can kind of see the shadow of me mixing that. So here's my green metallic. And I wanted some big splatters, so I got a little bit more vigorous with my, my splattering. I really do not have the best brush for this either. I think it turned out fine, but it kind of didn't want to splatter. So off screen I did kind of dab the whole thing with a paper towel, and then I cleaned up my mess. And this is where I go back to doing all my gluing, which I did speed this up because, you know, you don't really need to watch me glue in real time for a long time. I prefer to use liquid adhesive for this kind of thing because then I can kind of wiggle everything into place. Really thin stuff like this always kind of gives me a headache. I always end up with a sticky mess. My fingers just are sticky. Everything's sticky. My stacked dies end out sticky. I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll get the hang of that so it's not quite such a mess. And you'll see me fidgeting with this thing for a while because it just did not want to line up for me. And I apologize about the coughing. You'll be hearing a bit of that, I'm sure. I'm actually filming in my car right now. I brought my mom to a doctor's appointment, and I'm sitting in my car. And this is just about the only time and place that I have quiet. So I don't know if y'all can hear the cars in the background or not. If so, I'm sorry, but it's more quiet than my house. Again, here I am fidgeting. I will say those reverse tweezers are very handy for gluing your dies together. Okay, so I'm going to start putting all my pieces together on my background now. Or actually, this is where I realized, oh yeah, I wanted to die cut this. So I wanted it a little bit smaller than my A2 sized card base, which is pink. I like to have a little bit of an outline of the card base. So I used Pink and Maine, I believe. There's stitched rectangle dies to make it a little bit smaller, just a little bit smaller than an A2 size card. So I started with my gold piece. Because the L and the ucky are separate, I wanted to make sure that I got them in the right space. I didn't want to put those down and then not be able to line up any of my other pieces. So I went ahead and started with the gold outline. There is a little bit of a space between Lucky, the gold outline, and then a little bit of space between the gold outline and the pink outline. After that, they fit right up against each other. I am probably going to make a shirt with this SVG as well. On mine, it will be similar colors, but I've thought about making one for my stepdaughter that maybe just all greens. Maybe like some foil green and some glitter green, and then a couple of other shades of green. I might throw some gold in there too. Now, the ucky went in there just fine, but as I'm gluing the L, I noticed that it didn't line up quite right, and I couldn't really figure out why. And it wasn't until I watched the video later that I figured it out. There's a little gold piece there at the bottom of the L that I did not get quite in the right spot when I was gluing it down. It kind of angled down a little bit, and it should be up a little bit more. So that's why that didn't quite line up. And I don't know what it sounds like to you, but in my head, my voice is getting worse as this video goes on. This is another great use for the reverse tweezers. Not only, you know, getting your stacks of die cuts to adhere together nicely, but placing them. That way your fingers aren't really in the way and you're not getting sticky fingers. The reverse tweezers are probably one of the most important tools of the paper crafter, I would say. Okay, here's my layered pink outline. And like I said, there's a little bit of a space between the gold outline and the pink outline. You'll see that in a second. I guess I didn't speed up this gluing. I'm sorry. See me kind of finagle it into place here. I love the lighter shades of pink, you know, even bright pink, with the greens on anything really, but I love it for St. Patty's Day. I guess orange would have been more Irish, but I just think the pink looks so cute with it. This card's probably going to go to my aunt. She loves pinks and greens together. Okay, so really quickly, I want to say, you kind of see right there near where my thumb is that the cardstock looks a little messed up there. For some reason, it just did not, this piece and the glitter piece here in a second, just did not cut very well. Now on the glitter, I had a lot of problems with that. It is the, I think Paper Studio from Hobby Lobby. It was just one of their stacks of different colored glitter paper. And I always, anytime I try and cut it out on the Cricut, I don't know if I just don't ever quite get the right pressure or choose the right setting or something. I don't know. I always have problems with it. I really even have problems with it when I try to die cut with, wafer thin dies in my my Big Shot. I don't know what it is. I love using that cardstock for strips or just a background piece, but I have trouble with die cutting it with any machine. So for the glitter, I did spend a good bit of time going through that and using an X-Acto knife, or sorry, a craft knife, and cutting off and trimming all the little messed up bits that were hanging off of it. It did take some love to get that piece to look good. Like I said earlier, I didn't edit it down just a whole lot. I'm noticing more and more card makers on YouTube aren't editing down their videos as much anymore. I'm actually even noticing that they don't really do voiceovers as much anymore. They're just kind of talking as they craft. So, comment below which kind of videos you really prefer. Do you prefer very edited and voiceover, or do you prefer just talking as they're crafting and seeing kind of the whole thing, just a little bit of editing? And do you prefer them to just talk about the craft, or a few of the card makers I watch, they talk about their lives while they're doing it. So which kind of videos do you prefer to watch? Comment down below. So all I really have left to do on this card is just, mat it on there. I actually generally don't use liquid adhesive just to mat my card front on my card base, but since I had some dimension on the front of the card already, that's generally easier than using tape runner or something. And I had the glue sitting there, so I ended up doing like a landscape side fold card. You don't really see those a whole lot, and I thought it'd be cute for this one. And I really like all the gold and the pink with all those greens. I think it turned out super cute. So here are those extra pieces. So for the pink, the gold, the glitter green, and the really bright green, I have those interior pieces. So this is what I ended up doing with those. I went ahead and cut out Lucky a few extra times. So there's the gold piece, and I cut out dark green Lucky for that one, and that's the card I made with that. Showed you that real quick. And I did some Distress Oxide ink blending and some more splattering on that one. For the pink ones, I put the brighter green Lucky on those, and in a second you'll see what I did with that. I haven't done anything with those yet. I'm still kind of trying to decide thinking I'm going to throw some orange in those cards. So that's what I did with the pink and the green ones. Alright, so there you have it. There are my 3 cards I made with Retro Lucky. There's our Etsy shop, and find me on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, like, and comment. Thank you for being here.